Instead, talk about Jimmy Butler and Tom Thibodeau. It was reported they were going to meet yesterday, but then Jimmy tweeted last night, hey, that meeting is actually today. By the way, I love all of these NBA players who have turned into investigative reporters. It is one of my favorite things. Our own Woj, however, who of course beats everyone at every story, says the meeting is here in Los Angeles after it was initially scheduled to be in Minnesota. So there's a lot of opinions on this. Do you think this meeting, Royce, is a good thing, a bad thing for the Wolves? What do you think?
I think you can only characterize it as a good thing because, you know, it's like they say in any relationship. Once the communication stops, then that's when things go really bad. So, look, I don't know if the meeting will necessarily solve anything. I don't know if it'll fix anything. I don't know if all parties involved will come out feeling like there's a resolution in place and hurt feelings or whatever may be the case can be resolved. But if you're not talking at all, then you can't resolve anything. So I would say that on a scale of good to bad to horrible, it's at least okay.
First of all, Royce will be available after the show for any of your counseling needs. That was very evolved and very good therapy speak.
Maybe they should involve me in the meeting.
I know. It's right here in LA.
I want to sneak in, like, underneath those food trays they bring in with if they have table. I want to sneak in. The meeting, can I characterize the meeting as a bad thing?
Yes.
Because I'm going to characterize it as a bad thing. The Wolves traded a bunch of stuff for Jimmy Butler, and he's not happy, and he has issues, and he and Karl-Anthony Towns don't get along, and Tibbs is the coach. This is the prime implosion candidate in the NBA. It would be better if they all liked each other and everybody got along. Like, to me, this is not a good sign. It's a sign of troubled waters on the horizon. It's going to be a very interesting season in Minnesota.
I would say, though, that if there's discontent, a meeting is better than no meeting. I guess I should say it that way, rather than, of course, you would rather have no meeting at all. And it's kind of like, like Brian likes to say about knee surgery. It's like there's no such thing as minor knee surgery.
Right.
There's no such thing as a good meeting with management. I mean,
we'll see what he says. I mean, I don't know that anything substantive will come out of it, but they have a fascinating decision to make in terms of if they think he's leaving, they think Butler is leaving. Can they even do anything? When does it get too late to do anything? You can't trade a guy in January on an expiring contract. There's not going to be any market for that. They have to do it now if they think he's leaving. Does Glenn Taylor ever get involved and flex his muscle over Tibbs as the ultimate decision? I think it's an interesting situation.
I mean, and this is, again, a case where having the coach being loyal to a player and all the relationships that come in there, and then that coach also being the team president and sort of all the relationships that come into there. It's why some people feel those jobs should always be separated. If you're Jimmy Butler, though, in this situation, what are you walking in and asking for or saying?
I don't even know. I mean, because he's going to be a free agent, which means he gets to pick what team he plays for. I'm sure if he had his druthers, he would like to get the 5-year max that he's going to be eligible for from Minnesota. That's the easiest possible thing. That's the simplest possible thing. And if he gets traded, one of the reasons he might not ask to be traded is he doesn't get to pick where he goes and where that 5-year max is available to him.
Yeah, I mean, look, to me, it feels like the most likely outcome here is that he sits down, they start talking, because I'm trying to map out, okay, what's this meeting look like? The most likely scenario is he says, okay, fine, trade me. I mean, to me, that seems like the most likely outcome, doesn't it? Rather than I know I just got through talking about how it's great to communicate, but
I don't
what
think
happened to Kumbaya?
See, I don't think that's going to happen. I think it's just going to be
very persuasive.
I don't think that's going to happen. I just think, and this is troubling because, as you mentioned about Tibbs' incentives, about what his goals are. I think even if they all don't like each other, on raw talent, they're going to be a 48, 49, 50 win team, probably a playoff team, and all these decisions just get put off till the end of the season, and that could end up being a worst case scenario for the Wolves.
Are you comfortable just with, they don't like each other? Do we know that?
I mean, don't like is strong. I mean, there's mild discontentment that's been well reported, I think. Jimmy and Kat don't always see eye to eye. Tibbs is not the easiest guy to play for. I mean, I think all that stuff is known.
How different does this look if Jimmy Butler doesn't get hurt at the end of last year? The Wolves might finish with 53, 54 wins, be the 3 seed in the West, and couldn't there be a lot more
And that's another reason why I think they're just not going to rush to make any decisions that bust up this team, because they have not won a playoff series since 2004. Like, if they have a chance to win a playoff series, they're going all in for that.
Yep, absolutely.
And they should, by the way. They should.